Hi, I'm Juro, and this is Moreno Morena Presents, a podcast where I interview different, interesting people every week to hopefully shed light on what it means to be a dark skinned Filipino. Today I'm talking to Rio Estuar, sustainable fashion designer and craft beer enthusiast. We talk about being a Morena in the fashion industry, creating with diversity in mind, brand influence, and more. Don't forget to follow Moreno Morena on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to Moreno Morena Presents on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts. Thanks and enjoy the interview. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 11 of Moreno Morena Presents. We're doing a very first Monday episode since it's been busy this past week. And joining me today is sustainable fashion designer, one-time collaborator Moreno Morena. I'm sure you can find our shoot from way back. Rio Estuar. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
So please tell the audience where you are now and what's happening. What's up?
What's up? The year is ending, and I have been so focused with Rio Taso, my sustainable fashion line. I just dived in this year and did focused and zoned in and made everything I could make because everything outside has just been too much to handle.
Nice, yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
And you recently got married?
Okay, so I'm not yet married. Getting married. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I am engaged.
Nice.
It's weird to say. It feels
I
weird.
know. Now I was gonna ask you about your. You mentioned you went to when was that City Hall for the thing?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the other day.
Yeah, I can imagine that was very stressful.
It was.
Okay,
It makes you not want to get married.
I know. But anyways, besides the other news, where are you now? You are in the studio?
Yeah, I am in my studio where I keep all of the scrap fabric that I'm able to save from going to waste, and I turn it into new options.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few ones behind me. My most recent one would be this one.
Uh-huh.
It's so what I'm holding now is a tote bag, but it used to be 3 geese from a jujitsu.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, there. Yeah. So she sent over a bunch of her geese, and she told me, "Hey, I can't use them anymore. So can you turn them into sustainable pieces for my wardrobe?" So I was like, "Okay." So this is actually 3 geese into one tote, and I used the actual. Yeah, these are the actual. The lapel parts.
Yeah.
They're the straps. So
nice.
It's 100% just the gi. Yeah.
That's so cool. And then in the background,
Thanks.
I can see you made that jacket hat combo out of the flower.
Yeah, these are from that jacket naman is from old flour sacks and an old curtain for the printed one. Yeah,
that's so cool. I still think that's one of my favorite creations of yours.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, but we'll get into the meat of the interview.
Yeah.
So what is it like growing up Morena?
For me, in grade school, the younger years of my life, it was weird. It was a mix because I was the type who I didn't really care what other people said, but then you know how it's still like what they say, you still hear it, they still say it to you, and although you don't let it affect you as much, it still will in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it was a matter of how I grew up and what I was told by my parents versus the outside world, and just learning to balance all of that and find, I guess, my own meaning. Because younger years weren't as easy as right now when I've learned to accept me. Yeah.
So where was the judgment coming from? Was it lots from your family? Was it like schoolmates, friends?
Schoolmates, yeah, really grade school. Okay. Yeah.
So not so much the family side, like they didn't mind you being dark.
No, not so much the family. And I think a good role model would have been my mom talaga. Kasi not would have been, is my mom. I'm so sorry. My mom, because she's also Morena. So I look up to her a lot in everything that she does for us, and her work for the community. So it really helps that she's around, and I look up to her, and she's Morena too. So it
Yeah.
makes me proud to be Morena as well.
I think that's one thing that lots of people overlook. Like, representation doesn't have to really be like TV shows, movies, billboards. It can start
Yeah.
in the family then. So that's an interesting thing you mentioned. But
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
growing up Morena in school, was it because you were one of the very few darker skinned kids, or like what made them start like teasing you about?
I think it was because I was one of the few, and also I remember growing up na sobrang uso yung whitening products. Like, you'd
Uh-huh.
hear it everywhere, on the radio, on the like social media, would brainwash you. And then I guess it became a trend. It became something people wanted to do, to be.
Yeah.
So I guess since I did not conform to
Mhm.
that trend, it made me different to people around me. And I guess that I was considered as not in, or not part of the group, because I
Yeah.
didn't conform to that. Yeah.
And did that even go all the way until high school, or was it mostly a middle school thing?
I think it was mostly a grade school, middle school thing.
And then it got
Yeah,
better. High school.
Yeah, high school got better because in high school I moved to a different school, which was a more open school, and a more inclusive school. So it was a lot better there.
Was this middle school? Was that a big school that you came from?
Yeah, a big,
Like, really big?
very big school. Yeah.
The name rhymes with. No, you don't. You don't have to say it. That's fine. That's fine. And then the high school was like much smaller.
Much smaller.
Okay, nice.
And
Okay. Got it.
more diverse.
Yeah. Okay, so that high school, and then graduating from high school, and then studying undergraduate. Where did you end up going? Because I feel like I haven't asked all this stuff, which I should have asked you when we last met. How many years ago? But yeah, where did you end up going?
For college,
Yeah.
I went to CSB, College of St. Benilde, for fashion design.
Nice. Yeah. And then how was it like being Morena in like the fashion, like very early fashion industry?
I think by then, so coming from grade school wherein it was hard, and then high school wherein it was more accepted, to college wherein I just really like didn't care and was finding myself, loving myself, and especially in the fashion department. In the fashion department, there was a lot of different personalities.
Yeah.
So it was really easy to just be yourself, because everyone was different. And so I didn't find it hard at all. That I didn't find it hard to be Morena, to be who I was amongst all these people who were also themselves. I guess it was more of how the fashion industry perceived being Morena versus how I saw it for myself, and how I wished the fashion industry would be back then in college. Yeah, which has changed a lot over the years until today. So that's really good.
Yeah. No, you being in a creative course made me think about like, being in a creative course, I'm guessing people there are more of non-conforming because of like expression, and that, I don't know, I don't want to say it's the stereotype of the creative courses, but then
it's more of the freedom, I guess. The freedom to just, express yourself.
And then of course,
yeah.
Of course, people don't want to like follow a certain template because it'll drag down their, I mean, credibility, I guess, of being from a creative background. Yeah, so maybe it's different in other courses where it's more
strict,
systemic?
structured.
Yeah, structured. There you go. That's a good word.
There, structured.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
I guess.
Yeah, so fashion industry and being Morena. Did you have any experiences being Morena? Did you have any experiences where being Morena was highlighted when it comes to being in fashion?
Personally, when I was in college and in my batch, thankfully, there were a lot of designers who were more open and more inclusive to other, let's say, models, photographers, people you work with who are morena. Because in the past, since again, going back to what I mentioned earlier about being white, being a trend, being something we want, the media telling us, oh, we should be this, it became something that the fashion industry conformed to as well. They would only choose models who were white, fair skin. So, being morena was harder back then because it wasn't what people deemed to be, beautiful or nice to look at. So it was tough because even though you had the skills to, you were a beautiful model just because of your skin tone, it wasn't really accepted. During my time, it was a lot more accepted because my batch, the models we had were very diverse during our college runway shows. So that's also because of the school, because they're the ones who chose them. So thankfully, even the school and the system, they changed their ways and, they're more inclusive.
I think what is that? Because I heard from one of my, was it designer or stylist friends where, especially in the Philippines, people really tend to go for the more commercial looking. And I hate how when we say commercial looking, there's instantly an image in our head, right? I don't know if you got that too, but then, the stuff you mentioned about fair skin, pretty much Western looking models.
Yeah. We're thinking the same thing right now.
Yeah, I
you know the ones that go in a picture frame when you buy an empty picture frame? Them. Them. Yeah.
But it's nice how your school embraced that diversity and non-conforming again to whatever was the standard back then. So I know you've launched a couple collections.
Yeah, I've been busy this year. Yeah.
How many so far has it been?
Since everything, like the beginning of Rio. Wow. I guess I could start with officially the first one would be my college runway because that was an official collection, and then I launched, so that would be the second, and third would be the start of Rio Taso, and maybe around 6 or 7 official collections because every now and then I'd release a few pieces in between collections. So around 6 or 7.
And this is all the way back from
2017, 16, 17.
Oh, wow. It's a lot for 3 years.
Yeah.
Is it a lot? Yeah.
It is in terms of, well, it could be more if I wanted to, if I followed the seasons of summer, spring, then it should be twice a year, but I don't follow those things. Yeah.
I remember when I saw, I think some of the campaign material for your earlier collections, you really used a very diverse group of models to, I think for both your runway and then also the campaign photos.
Yeah, I always do. I always want people to see that everyone can wear my clothes.
Yeah.
So it's basically it's as simple as that. It's showing people that you can wear my clothes, and the imagery of having a model that looks like you really helps a lot when you shop. So you imagine yourself wearing the pieces that you see. So yeah.
Is there any pressure from your peers who aren't doing the same thing? Like they tend to stick to the more commercial models or the bigger designers or the bigger names out there when they use those very same people and not really embrace the kind of diversity you implement into your, can I say brand, into okay.
Is there any pressure on me?
Right?
There. On me.
Do you feel any?
I guess it's not really, it's not direct, right? It's a personal feeling na since I'm doing the opposite, it tends to sort of, I guess, feel like I'm going against what they're doing.
Yeah.
Therefore, taking away from what they're doing, but I'm not necessarily doing that.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is shining a light on other things. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, we can all do this together.
Yeah.
I'm not excluding your models. I'm including mine. There's something like that. So it's more of, it's unspoken because of how, I guess, how other brands have been doing it in the past and for so
Yeah.
long. And then here comes someone who just doesn't do it that way.
Yeah.
And people are, it's getting traction away from them towards mine. So I guess it's more of that. But I try to, I'm always open naman about what I do. And I just say na, hey, it's nothing, it's not personal. It's, it's what I believe in and what I want to show out there. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there do you have any designer role models when it comes to like the intention of your clothes, of your designs? Like, I really like what you said about you just want to show people that they too can wear your clothes. Like, it's really for everyone. Are there any inclusive designers that you look up to, or sustainable designers that you look up to?
I have a few. Off the top of my head is, his name on Instagram is Zero Waste Daniel. Like, and what he does is similar to mine. And I recently found out about this brand earlier this year lang. But he's been doing it for so long na rin. He is in the US and he also collects fabric waste.
Yeah.
He collects fabric waste, and what he does is he calls it re-roll, because what he does is he patches them together and forms the roll back of how it would have been originally. And then he makes sweatshirts and joggers. Those are his things.
Yeah.
And he's very, very into the sustainability scene. And he even makes dresses for the red carpet and all of that. Pero everything is 100% sustainable.
Yeah.
So, and very inclusive. He has created for a lot of celebrities from RuPaul's Drag Race and all of that. So it's very, very exciting what he does. And I really look up to him for everything, like sustainability and inclusivity in his brand.
Nice. I think I'll go check him out after the interview.
Yeah.
Are there any like local names that you want to emulate when it comes to like building your brand, building your collections, or use of models, or I don't know, who are the people who inspire you like locally?
I have there's one that I am looking at right now. It's called Loaf. It's called Loaf PH. They also make loungewear.
Yeah.
And I think the designer, if I'm not mistaken, she also owns a separate line wherein she embroiders pieces that she's thrifted. So vintage pieces she embroiders and then she sells them. And then she went and created a more easy access line, which is her loungewear, which is made out of scrap cotton. So it's comfortable, it's organic and all of that, and it's local. And I love her brand because it's very chill, it's very wearable every day, and it's actually very affordable for a local brand aspiring to be a sustainable one. Yeah. It's Loaf PH. Yeah.
Loaf with a PH or no? Loaf as in
loaf
bread loaf?
.ph.
Okay,
yeah, bread loaf and then .ph. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, wait, I just have to ask you, what draws you to sustainable fashion?
I guess, it actually started in high school. Because in high school, I would always go to thrift stores and I just buy stuff. Hey, this is cool, not knowing what I would do with it. And then one day, a batchmate or a schoolmate of mine comes up to me and says, hey, can you draw on my shorts?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, sure. So I did. And she ended up liking it. And she was like, hey, can you do this to another pair? So she was like, can you tie-dye this pair? And I was like, sure. So it started to become a thing. Classmates of mine would come to me with old garments and they'd have me rework them into new things. And then it carried on all the way until college. I would do that on the side. And then in college, when I was actually learning about the fashion industry, and then I learned how much waste the fashion industry actually produces, it just hit me. I got very sad. I was like, oh no, am I in the right industry? Should I just stop?
Yeah.
Because there are too many clothes out there. And it just became overwhelming to the point that after college, my first clothing line, Calia Rio, was getting a lot of traction.
Yeah.
Like to the point that after the month after my college graduation show, Pia Wurtzbach was on the cover of a magazine wearing my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't happy with the waste I was producing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I stopped. I just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then I just took a break from all of it, and then I started to focus on what I actually wanted for myself and for the brand, which was a sustainable lifestyle, and how do I carry that over into fashion design. And then I started to piece together scraps, figure out how it could work. And it was a year that I stopped. I stopped for a year.
Yeah.
And just figured all of that out.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then Rio Tasso.
Yeah.
Now we're here. 2 years later, Rio Tasso. Yeah.
True, but that sounds like a really, I don't know, for me it sounds like a really low point where you're there's a conflict inside of you, and then you have that really great traction from Pia wearing your designs. Then I think any other person, especially if they're starting out, they would just run with the whatever exposure they can get and just push for, I don't know, but then that conflict inside you being strong enough to make you go through that whole phase of reevaluating your priorities. Shoot.
Yeah, it was tough. I had to, I stared at all the scraps I accumulated for years because I didn't want to throw anything away.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do with any of them because that wasn't part of my business plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to find a way for it to be part of my business plan. So, Rio Tasso.
Nice. And did being so conscious of the waste you were producing come from anywhere else besides when you realized that the fashion industry was producing so much waste, or were there remnants of that coming from way back?
It actually started, the influence to be sustainable, to have a sustainable lifestyle was from my younger sister, 4 years younger than me. She would bring home trash from high school, like from her classmates. She would collect their trash and bring it home and then sort it here at home. She would, so she'd come home.
Interesting.
Yeah, because at the time, Eco Bricks, wherein you'd fill up plastic bottles. Yeah, she would do that, but she wanted everyone's trash to be part of it, kasi sayang. So it started with her.
Yeah.
Her influence on the family. Actually, she would tell us, we don't have to use this. We can use this instead. She would give us options, and in turn, that made me think about, my own lifestyle and my own brand and how I can carry that over. Because if I can do it in everyday life, maybe there's a way for fashion to be the same way, sustainable. And there is.
Yeah, I know, and that's so cool. What do you feel about, I know there are those brands, and I'm sure there's a term for it, but I'm kind of blanking on it, where they say that they're sustainable, but it turns out that they're just marketing themselves as sustainable when in fact that they aren't really putting in the effort to actually be conscious of the waste they're producing.
Ooh, tea. No, I'm just kidding. There are a lot. I guess we can actually name big brands for it. Because it's such as. Are we?
Nope.
Are we? No.
Nope.
Okay.
That's...
There are brands who put up a front that they're sustainable. For example, they have drop your old clothes here.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out a way. We'll make it sustainable. Here's a gift card.
Yeah.
But you don't actually see where those clothes go. It's never shown what they do with the clothes that you drop off. But you, as the person who dropped them off, you feel like you did your job.
Yeah.
And you were rewarded with a gift card. So it's more of questioning further. So wait, where did the clothes I donated end up? Did you do something? So there are a lot, and it's sad because they're using the fact that people are starting to become more conscious about their choices. They're using that, and they're pretending or using that to still be in the game, to
Yeah.
still be known
Yeah.
in fashion and not bashed or anything. But they don't really show the harsh truths or the bad side, the negative side. Yeah, it can be very dark.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And
Two
these are
buildings burning
Oh no. And these
in
are
factories, yeah.
big and small brands or mostly like big ones?
Honestly, mostly big ones. The ones who have been here for a long time. The ones we are all guilty of shopping in. If you think right now, like, I need a new pair of jeans, where
Yeah.
would you go?
Yeah.
There.
There.
That, yep,
Oh,
that
jeez.
place.
Okay.
They're very guilty of a lot of things. And like to put it a simple example would be that if they produce excess amount of pieces and it's not bought, they burn it to hide the fact. Yeah, they won't even just sell it at a lower price. They'll just burn it just so it disappears.
Oh
Yep.
no.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's very
Oh my gosh.
there it gets sad. It makes you not wanna buy anything from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, speaking about big brands, which we're not going to name, I wanted to
Mhm.
ask you then about the increasing trend of using Korean personalities.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's so easy to like which brands these are because there's only like
Oh no.
a handful using Korean personalities. But yeah, I don't know. I just an observation because for how many years now yung Korean culture has been getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
And it's trickling down even to like our perception of beauty. And of course, that'll influence the people buying clothes and all that. And then so naturally, these fashion brands, these big and small ones, would
Mhm.
lean into Korean culture using Korean celebrities to make a profit. I don't know. I wanted to get your
My
opinions on that.
opinion.
If you have any about it. I mean, like,
I see it clearly.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. I personally am not a fan. Not that I am against it. It's just not my
Okay.
thing.
Careful with the names we're gonna say because
I'm not saying no names
Same,
because I
same.
don't know their names.
I didn't say any names either. Let's just make it clear.
No names were mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, I catch myself
Yeah.
singing songs and I don't hate it.
Yep.
You know how you don't know, it just came out of nowhere
Yeah.
and you're singing it because you heard it in the mall or something. Yeah, it's definitely becoming a big influence on everything from TV shows to fashion to skincare. I guess for me, I'm just worried that it'll go back to what I was afraid of when I was younger, wherein whitening products would be all that. And I guess that's it for me, is I'm scared of that coming back.
Yeah.
Or because if it's a personal choice, then and you really want that, then go for it. But if
Yeah.
it's something you're doing just because everyone else is,
Yeah.
and it's because you're not appreciative of who you are right now, then I don't think it's helping anybody if it goes that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on like how really the exposure to all that specific culture will really, I guess, feed into the people's preferences, their perception of beauty. And it's something that we can't really avoid unless like we're super putting up a wall or our guard up when it comes to stuff like that. And I don't know, it's nice seeing an Asian country get as much global praise as Korea. But it's also kind of sad how I'm not sure how it is for Filipino culture or Filipino, like for example, Filipino models. Like how do they fare when it comes to a global stage being compared to like when you have a Korean model or a model from other countries? Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say your brand is going global and I don't know. It feels kind of like a loaded question, but like expecting from the global fashion world and then being a Filipino, does that scare you, or are there any things that come to mind when you see yourself as a Filipino fashion designer in the global scale, in the global stage?
Um, it it's scary because actually it's sad because the way I think of it is I'm scared more of not getting local support than international
Mm-hmm.
support. If
Okay.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I feel like if my brand does get global and international, that locally it won't be supported as much
Mm-hmm.
because growing up here in the Philippines, I think it's hard to be successful. And I don't know why that is, or even if that's it's just how Filipinos are, or
Mm-hmm.
it's very sad, honestly.
Yeah.
But then if, for example, I'm a Filipina who grew up in another country and I'm doing the Philippines justice over there, it'll be seen here
Yeah.
as something, and it'll be praised over there.
Yeah,
So
I get that.
yeah, it's a
Interesting.
mixed. It's a
Yeah, it's a weird place to be.
yep,
And we won't really know until we get there. So
yeah.
yeah,
I'll
there's
let
something
you know.
something to
Just
think
kidding.
about. What
Yeah.
about when it comes to, I think because it kind of hits close to home, being in the like cool fashion industry as a photographer, when you
Mm.
see lots of these up and coming brands or people starting out new brands where they want to position themselves as like an international vibe, so they end up using foreign looking models. And I don't know if if you've had any experience with that, like just as an observer from
Yeah.
the fashion with the fashion industry. Where do you see that evolving?
I guess since I did study in a very diverse college, and there were a lot of us fashion designers. We all had our own designs, ideas, styles, influences.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's it's hard to say whether the reason for choosing um foreign models
Yeah.
over local is because of your taste in fashion or who your market is, rather,
Mm-hmm.
because I guess if your market is local, therefore your models should represent the local people and not what you want the local people to look like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like
It does.
your market is, diba? Like your market is the local people, the Filipinos, but your models do not resemble Filipinos. Then how can Filipinos imagine themselves wearing your clothes? How can Morenas imagine themselves in garments that are being modeled and made to look like they're better for white skinned people, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's more of questioning your market. And I mean, if you're a local designer but your market is international, then go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's more of, really, if your market is local, market who the local people are and not what you want them to be, because
Yeah.
then you're being part of the media
Yeah. Yeah.
brainwashing, you know, and it's just sad at that point.
I feel like it kind of brings up a chicken and egg situation where
Yeah.
like designers, of course, they want to appeal to their market, so they're gonna go with their market's sensibilities and preferences. But then you can't really make any opportunities for example, Filipino models or people who look like you and me,
Mm.
unless the designers themselves set the standard or start doing it themselves.
Yeah.
And they're doing that regardless of what their audience thinks. So it's kind of
It's
like
it's tough.
where to
It's
start?
a,
Yeah.
yeah, it's, yeah. Uh, mm.
Yeah. I got that.
You got that? You felt that? Yeah.
Felt that. Hmm. Are there any dream models you want to work with? Local or like international?
Ooh. Tough, tough. I'm bad with names,
Uh-huh.
first of all. But I mean, Pia has already worn my stuff, so
So,
I'm good. No, no, no.
yeah.
I have this dream actually. I have this idea that I've been forming for years now.
Yeah.
I just don't know how. I actually want a shoot of my clothes being worn by literally anyone, as
Mm-hmm.
in random. No
Random.
casting. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, game ka? Oh,
Yeah.
here's a
Yeah.
jacket. What do you do? What are you doing right now? Can you just wear my jacket
Yeah.
and continue what you're doing? Whether you're studying, you're a cashier, whatever. Like it's just in the moment of
Mm-hmm.
someone, a
Interesting.
Filipino. Yeah, it's been something I've been wanting to do since Calia Rio.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten to it, but it's, yeah. Would you want to do it? Let's do
Let's do
it.
it next year after the pandemic. Sure.
Yeah, pag mas safe na to come up to random people and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, wear this." Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, really, I still want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love
Yeah.
that your conviction of just wanting to show people that anyone can really wear your clothes. I feel like
Yeah.
more brands should have that.
Yeah, just be
Yeah.
inclusive, whether it's size or color, you know. Yeah, because the point of, like, what is the point of your brand if no one can wear it, right?
Yeah.
So, who are you making clothes for? And I guess if you can't answer that, stop making clothes. I'm kidding,
Yikes.
just kidding.
Nice.
Oh,
What a quote.
oh no.
Okay. So bringing it back to being dark skinned in the Philippines. Okay, I'm kind of stumped. But then I think we covered a lot about
Yeah.
being Filipino on a global scale, representation, and how it really should come from those who are in power or those with
Yeah.
influence such
With
as you.
platforms,
Yeah,
yeah.
with platforms, especially when it comes to things as simple as choosing who your models are. Like I was interviewed a little while back about something that had to do with the influence of media when it comes
Mm.
to our preference or our perception of beauty. And then I told the guy how I think uh one overlooked aspect of the media is like stores, like Instagram
Mm-hmm.
stores, because that of course that takes up some of most of our feeds then,
Yeah.
especially with that new update where they're really trying to focus on buying and selling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the models you see on those shops play a really big part on forming our perception of beauty. And I don't know, right now we're really online all the time. And then it kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, it'll bear down on you how seeing people who look very commercial
Mm-hmm.
compared to people who are, or compared to brands who embrace more diversity and inclusivity. I
Yeah.
don't know, it really just affects people. And
You notice it. You notice it
yeah, I do.
because you can't relate to what you're
Yeah,
seeing on the screen, and it sucks. Because, yeah, I mean, it's on, I mean, aren't ads targeted to a certain audience?
yeah,
Therefore, you are their chosen audience, but the fact that once you see it, you're just like, no, why are you targeting me?
yeah,
I don't understand. Then, there's something wrong with how they're marketing themselves
yeah.
to the local market. Yep.
And then there's one part of also, of course, one way to change that is to really demand that we see more representation of dark skinned people. But
Mm-hmm.
then another, I think, easier way would be if the designers, the brands themselves want to have a more
Yeah.
diverse like cast of models whenever they do their campaigns or like simple catalog, product catalog stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's also nice to have someone like you, a designer, very strong in their convictions about want to see everyone wear their designs, not just appeal
yeah.
to a certain kind of market or to carry that very tired and something you see every day in a commercial again, commercial
Yeah.
looking thing.
It's it's tiring. Yes, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's more of, a brand, I think personally, will sell better if you're relatable, I guess. And how would you do that if what you show us through media isn't something we can relate to? Therefore, I'm not even gonna click your store. So,
Yeah.
it's as simple as that. And yeah, it's more of, I guess some are afraid
Mm-hmm.
to deviate
Yeah.
from the norm, or yeah, I guess. So there's also that. It's a personal choice now of just following, your heart and who you actually want to design for, versus being afraid and just staying where you are but unsure and
Mm-hmm.
safe. It's a lot
Yeah, it's
of
really a lot.
different things. And I guess it's not easy also, given the different backgrounds we all grew up in. Other people probably grew up to hate who they are, which is very sad. And I guess that tends to get them that tends to make them scared
Yeah,
of appreciating who they are right now, which is what we should all be doing.
I know. Yeah, and
Yeah.
what's especially sad is how sometimes if we continue to see all these commercial looking things, it
Yeah.
just ends up becoming the norm, and then that's how people are like wired to think of, oh,
Yeah.
that's what I should look like, or that's what those clothes should look like, and yeah, just small things like that.
Yeah. It matters, kasi yeah, you'll be like, "Oh, that's what I should look like, so that bagay sa akin yung garment na yon."
Yeah.
So therefore you will alter yourself to fit that, which it should be the other way around. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the ones who are designing and creating clothes, you should be designing for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And who are you designing for? I guess
Yeah.
it always goes back to that. Because yeah, I mean, if without the customers, we wouldn't need to make clothes. So it's as simple as that. So you can't really be as not inclusive as most brands are today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without getting hate or
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, and also not to criticize too much on those bigger brands, but yeah, also on a global scale, or maybe just even in the country, of course people will
Mm,
follow the what the bigger businesses are doing,
yeah.
and that'll like set the standard for all these up and coming designers or small clothing brands. Na okay, we'll just follow the
Yeah.
leader. We'll do what they're doing because we know it works, and
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't leave room for people to experiment or people to explore these different kinds of um more inclusive options. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
but
that's
it's nice
true.
to know that you're doing something about it, and
Trying.
yeah, again, yeah, the conviction that you have to make that change is very admirable.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like this year I just started, finally I was able to create patterns for plus size, and I
Hmm.
was super happy because I didn't want to just put out bigger sizes and not, figure out the perfect measurements for them.
Yeah.
I did my research
Nice.
and I
Okay.
created the patterns, because there's a need for plus size
Mm-hmm.
garments. And so I was like, hey, I have a lot of fabric, might as well. And yeah, that was the response to it was really well. Like
Yeah.
the collection like sold out, and I
Yeah.
was yung shock ko after it was parang I was happy but sad,
Mm-hmm.
because I was happy, of course, because people like my designs, but also it was because they don't have much options.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of
Yeah.
people offer plus size garments that are sustainable.
Yeah.
So there's also that. So I guess it also, you can put that back also with morenas and models. Na yun na nga, like since you don't really see much representation
Yeah.
online of morenas, then where do you go? Where do you shop as a morena looking
That's true.
for a morena role model in the fashion industry? So it's hard. Yeah.
Dang. Okay. That sounds like a really great place to end things. But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, we can end it there if you want. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah?
I think
Do
that
you
was
want to end on a
pretty.
happy note?
I think that was a happy note.
Yeah,
I
okay.
Yeah. Fine. Well, what can you say? Do you have any
um,
advice for Morenas in the fashion industry?
for Morenas in the fashion industry, I think really just, you know, be yourself. um, honestly, that's something it took a while for me,
Yeah.
especially for me personally, to learn. But I guess it's as simple as that. Just be yourself and continue to enjoy what you're doing. Being a morena, dressing up in the clothes you want to dress up in, regardless of who modeled it.
Yeah.
Just show how you're lucky. I guess that's another thing. You're very, very lucky. And yeah, we beautiful.
Nice. Okay. I agree, of
And with
course, of
that.
course. And with that, again, I would just like to make clear that we didn't mention any Korean
No names at all for
anything.
anything.
No names.
No
Yep.
brands.
Yep. So just making sure. Okay. Is there anything you want to plug, or where can people follow you?
Oh, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Oh, nice.
It's
Okay.
yeah, it's at Rio Taso Clothing. So it's at RIOTASO Clothing. No space. Yeah, that's where you can find what I make out of scrap fabric I saved from going to waste. Yeah, each piece is one of a kind, and I would love to create something for you with whatever I have here. Yeah. For example, your
Nice.
old curtain, let's
Yeah.
turn it into something. I'm ready. Yeah. That's
Okay,
it. Rio
great.
Tasa Clothing.
Okay, thank you again so much for being part of episode 11 of Moreno Morena Presents. It was a really good talk and got to learn a lot. And we dodged lots of bullets by not naming anyone, just making it clear again that we didn't say any names. Okay. Yeah, I hope to talk to you soon and good luck with the creations and
Thank you.
fashion.
Yes.